This is not a suggestion. It's not a strategy. It's not a quote for your wallpaper. It's the law of progress, the price of greatness. You want to change your life? You want to break patterns, build discipline, transform your body, master your craft, or find out who you really are? Then you better learn one thing right now. Show up. Every single day. Not when it's easy. Not when you're motivated. Not when people are watching. Every day. Rain or shine. Hurt or healed. Empty or full. Because the life you want, it's not waiting on you to feel ready. It's waiting on you to decide. The world respects one thing: consistency. Everybody talks. Everybody posts. Everybody makes plans. But not everybody shows up. That's what separates them. That's what builds momentum, trust, identity, confidence. The real ones? They punch the clock whether it's fun or not. They hit the gym when they're sore. They study when they're tired. They lead when they feel like hiding. They show up when it's dark. They show up when it's cold. They show up when nobody claps, nobody checks in, nobody notices, because they aren't doing it for applause. They're doing it for evolution. You don't have to be perfect, just present. Let go of the idea that you need to be perfect every day. You don't. You just need to be there. Not every workout is going to be amazing. Not every writing session is going to produce gold. Not every conversation will go your way. But every time you show up, every time you choose the hard over the easy, you're laying bricks. You're building muscle, mental, emotional, physical. You're stacking proof that you are dependable. Proof that you can be trusted with your dreams, your goals, your future. You think greatness happens in one big explosion? It doesn't. It happens in repetition, small efforts, daily decisions, quiet actions done so consistently, so relentlessly, that one day the world has to pay attention. Your future depends on today. Let that hit. Your future, the life you're dreaming about, it depends on this day. Not some magical future where everything's aligned. Today. Right now. Because today is all you ever get. You keep waiting for tomorrow. But tomorrow is a liar. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. Tomorrow is the cemetery of intentions. Tomorrow is where the undisciplined hide. But today? Today is where warriors are made. Today is where habits are forged. Today is where your name is written, in sweat, in sacrifice, in silence. So show up. Not for the results, but because the version of you that doesn't quit is being built right now. Discipline is louder than motivation. Motivation is nice, but it's inconsistent. Some days it's there. Most days it's not. Discipline, though, that's different. That's muscle. That's war paint. That's the voice that says, I said I would, so I did. You don't feel like it? Good. Do it anyway. You're tired? Good. Do it anyway. You're unmotivated, unsure, uninspired? Good. Do it anyway, because real power comes from showing up on the days you don't want to. That's how you earn self-respect. That's how you become unshakable. The difference between average and extraordinary: everyone wants to be special. But special isn't something you're born with. It's something you become by showing up more than everyone else. The difference between average and extraordinary: it's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even timing. It's consistency. It's who kept going. It's who stayed committed when it got boring, hard, lonely. It's the guy who ran in the cold. The woman who studied while everyone else slept. The one who worked through heartbreak. The one who kept lifting while sore, writing while stuck, building while broke. Extraordinary is earned. One painful, boring, difficult day at a time. And you can't earn that if you only show up when it's easy. Nobody's coming. You are the rescue. Listen closely. No one's going to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not a coach, not a guru, not a video on YouTube. You are it. Your future is in your hands right now. You either show up and build it brick by brick, or you wait and hope someone else builds it for you. But they won't. You want change? then be the reason it happens. You want momentum? Then create it. You want success? Then show up like you deserve it. Every single day. Hard days are the real test. Let me be real with you. The easiest thing in the world is to show up when everything feels right. The real test? It's when your body aches, when the world goes quiet, when the rain's coming down, when your friends stop calling, when the money's tight, when your motivation is dead. That's the test. That's the moment when you either step forward or sit down. And most people, they sit, but not you. You didn't come this far to quit at the first sign of difficulty. You didn't survive your worst days just to fold on a hard one. You came here to finish. So show up. You don't need to win today. Just don't quit. Let this free you. You don't need to be the best today. You don't need to win every fight. You don't need to set a personal record. You just need to not quit. You need to lace your shoes, open the book, walk into the gym, face the blank page. Even if you stumble, show up. Even if you're exhausted, show up. Even if it's messy, slow, and full of mistakes, show up. Because the day you quit, that's the only day you lose. Who are you when no one's watching? This is the defining question of your life. Who are you when no one's watching? When there's no scoreboard, no claps, no recognition, no praise. Who are you in the quiet? The successful? They show up there. That's where the real work happens. In the dark, in the silence. When everyone else is sleeping, scrolling, giving up. You want to lead, you want to inspire, you want to change the game? Then become the one who shows up, even when there's no one to impress. That's who becomes undeniable. Stack the days, build the life. Here's the truth. Greatness doesn't show up in one big moment. It shows up in 1,000 ordinary ones. Waking up early, turning down distractions, choosing discipline over dopamine, pushing when no one sees it, finishing what you started. Stack those days, one by one. And suddenly, you're not the same person anymore. You're harder to break. You're faster, sharper, hungrier. You're walking different, speaking different, living different, because you didn't wait. You didn't wish, you worked. Show up for you, not just for the goal. You want a six-pack, a business, a legacy? Cool, but remember this. You don't just show up to get something. You show up to become someone. Because the person who shows up every day, that person is dangerous. That person can't be broken because they already faced the fire and kept moving. So, no matter what the outcome is, you win. Because you didn't quit. Because you trained your soul, sharpened your mind, disciplined your body. And that version of you? That's the reward. Final word. Show up until it's who you are. Let this echo forever. Show up until it's automatic. Show up until it's your nature. Show up until it's who you are. Because that's what separates wishers from warriors. That's what builds legacies. That's what rewrites the story. You want something real? Then stop talking. Stop planning. Stop waiting for energy or clarity or certainty. Just show up. Again and again and again. Every single day. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just chase your dreams. You built them. Be the one who never leaves the arena. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You just need to stay in the arena. While others come and go. While they get excited and burn out. While they chase one thing after the next. You stay focused, grounded, locked in. Because you understand something most never learn. Success isn't about intensity. It's about durability. Can you take hits and keep showing up? Can you fail and still keep going? Can you wake up the day after disappointment, rejection, heartbreak, and still do the work? You don't rise by feeling good. You rise by showing up. Forget about waiting for confidence. Forget about feeling inspired. If you only move when it feels right, you'll spend your life waiting. But if you move regardless, if you show up while uncertain, while afraid, while doubting, then you're building something powerful. You're building the kind of momentum that doesn't just change days, It changes lives. You don't rise by accident. You rise because you kept standing up. You rise because you showed up when your knees were shaking, when your heart was heavy, when your soul whispered quit, and you answered not today. Comfort is a liar. It tells you to rest when you should run. It tells you to slow down when the door is just about to open. It tells you to wait for the perfect time that never arrives. You want a better life? Then stop listening to comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth, the death of dreams, the slow decay of greatness. You weren't built for comfort. You were built for conquest. And that conquest begins with one act, done over and over, showing up, even when you're sore. Even when the world says, take it easy. Show up harder. You are the standard, not the weather. Not your feelings. Not your schedule. You are the standard now. When you say you'll do something, you do it. When you commit, you follow through. When it gets hard, you double down. Because you've stopped treating this like a phase and started treating it like a lifestyle. Others will flinch. They'll pause. They'll quit. But not you. You're becoming the type of person who keeps their word, especially to themselves. Be the one who can't be broken. Storms come. They always do. But some people, they get better in the storm. Stronger, sharper, more alive. That's you now. Not because life got easier, but because you got harder to break. You didn't give up when they walked away. You didn't quit when the bank account got low. You didn't collapse when your confidence did. You stood up, you laced up. You showed up. Every single day. And that discipline, it carved you into something untouchable. Success isn't random, it's repetition. It's not one giant leap. It's not one viral moment. It's not one lucky break. It's repetition. The gym sessions when no one's watching. The practice reps when you're tired of failing. The cold mornings. The quiet nights. The lonely Sundays. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it's where you win. You show up so much they can't ignore you. You grind so consistently that your future self has no choice but to succeed. Pain doesn't mean stop. Too many people think pain means stop, but pain is not the signal to quit. It's the signal that you're growing. The soreness in your legs means the muscle is building. The ache in your chest means your heart is getting stronger. The burn in your brain means your mind is expanding. Pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're in process. Keep going. If it doesn't hurt a little, you're not stretching enough. Let them rest. You keep building. Look around. Most people, they tap out early. They do just enough to feel good, but not enough to change. You keep building. They scroll. You study. They party. You train. They blame. You take ownership because you've made peace with being different. You've made peace with sacrificing now so you don't regret later. You're not after average. You're after freedom. You're after impact. You're after legacy. And that doesn't come from showing up. Sometimes. It comes from showing up every time. There will be no applause. Do it anyway. Let this hit. Nobody is clapping for you right now. Nobody is cheering. Nobody is texting you good job every time you grind in the shadows. And that's okay, because you don't need it. You don't need a stage. You need a reason. And if your reason is real, then no silence can stop you. No lack of attention can derail you. You're not doing this for likes. You're doing this for life. You're not special until you are. Everyone thinks they're special. Everyone wants to be exceptional. But that title? It's not given. It's earned through repetition, sacrifice, commitment. You're not special because you want it. You're special because you act like it. Because you show up like someone who can't be beat. Like someone who can't be stopped. And one day, that ordinary guy, that ordinary girl who showed up every single day, they'll become a giant. Because giants aren't born. They're built. This is who you are now. This is bigger than a goal. Bigger than a plan. This is identity. You're the kind of person who doesn't skip steps. Who doesn't break promises to themselves. Who doesn't flinch at difficulty? You're built on habits, not hype. On purpose, not pressure. And you carry yourself differently because you earned it. You carry weight. You carry discipline. You carry power because you chose to. Show up every single day. The unseen work that builds the unstoppable you. You know why most people lose? Not because they're weak. Not because they don't have potential. Not even because they're lazy. They lose because they stop showing up. They let life get loud and discipline go quiet. They let one bad day become a bad week. One missed workout become a pattern. One failed attempt become a reason to never try again. But not you. You've made a decision to show up even when you're behind. To show up even when it's slow. To show up when nobody claps, when nobody cares, when nobody sees. Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward the loudest, it rewards the most consistent. You're building a foundation they can't see. You wake up before the world does. You stay up after it's gone to sleep. You do reps no one will ever count. You say no to things they don't even realize are holding them back. And it's lonely. You'll look around and think, does any of this matter? Yes, it matters. More than anything, because while they're living in the moment, you're building the future. You're building discipline. You're building trust in yourself. You're building the kind of strength that doesn't crack when life hits hard. Every day you show up. You pour another brick into a structure called identity. And one day, when the storm comes, and it always comes, you'll be the last one standing. Don't apologize for your obsession. Let them laugh. Let them mock. Let them call you too intense, too serious, too much. Good. You're not here to be casual. You're here to be dangerous. You're here to break cycles, shatter limits, and become something rare. So if it means skipping parties, do it. If it means losing fake friends, good. If it means sacrificing your old identity, necessary. The people who make history, they don't chase balance. They chase purpose. They're not living to impress the crowd. They're living to impress the future version of themselves, the one they're building every day with quiet, brutal discipline. Discipline is love in action. You don't skip your workout because you love your future self. You don't scroll for hours because you respect your mind. You don't lie to yourself about how tired you are because you care. Discipline is not punishment. It's a form of love. It's telling your future self, I've got you. I'm building something for you. I'm showing up now so you don't have to suffer later. Most people don't understand that. They live in comfort, and they suffer in regret, but not you. You suffer now so you can live in freedom later. You show up every day because you care too much not to. Let your actions be louder than excuses. You could have made excuses. You could have hit snooze. You could have skipped that meal, that session, that uncomfortable conversation. But you didn't. You did the hard thing. And that's how you break through. Excuses feel good today, but they steal your tomorrow. They rob you of the identity you're trying to build. They whisper lies. You're too tired. You deserve a break. You've done enough. But you've trained your ears to recognize truth from comfort. The truth is this. You're not done yet. So you get up. Again, and again, and again, because every excuse is a brick. And you either use it to build walls around your potential or build steps toward your greatness. You choose the steps. Do it when it sucks the most. Here's where it gets real. Anyone can show up when it feels good. When the sun is shining. When the results are rolling in. When the mirror looks kind and the world applauds. But champions, they show up when it sucks. They show up when nothing makes sense. When their body's tired. When the bank account's empty. When their heart is heavy. When every part of them is screaming, take the day off. They show up then. Because they know. The work you do when no one's watching is the work that builds you. If you only grind when it's convenient, you'll never build what's truly possible. But if you show up when it hurts, when it's dark, When the only fuel you have left is belief. That's when you become unstoppable. Your life is the compound interest of daily effort. You won't see the results tomorrow. You might not see them next week, but 6 months from now, you'll be unrecognizable. Not because you made one big change, but because you kept showing up. You changed your habits. You changed your mindset. You refused to break when life bent you. That's real growth. That's real transformation. You didn't need applause. You didn't need validation. You just needed one thing: discipline. The grind didn't break you, it revealed you. This is not motivation, this is identity. The grind no one sees, the power they can't take. You want to know the truth? Most people are addicted to event moments. They wait for the big break. They chase the high. They chase motivation. They pray for a breakthrough. But greatness isn't born in breakthroughs. It's born in the boring, the daily, the repetitive, the again, the still, the why the hell am I doing this? That's where legends are made. You show up because it's who you are, not because you feel like it. Not because the camera's rolling, not because anyone claps. You show up because you decided, this is who I am now. You're the kind of person who works in silence. You're the kind of person who trains in the dark. You're the kind of person who says, I don't care if nobody notices, I'll know. That's power, because when the world stops watching, most people stop trying. But not you. You're past that. You're past the phase of needing permission. You're not doing this to impress. You're doing this to transform. And transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens on the 700th rep. You didn't feel like doing. When it's chaos, keep your discipline. Look, life's not clean. It's not smooth. It's messy. It's loud. It's unpredictable. People will flake. Plans will fall apart. Stress will pile up. You'll get sick. You'll get heartbroken. You'll get tired. And still, you show up. Because that's when it matters most. Not when life makes it easy, but when life dares you to fold. That's the moment that counts. That's the moment that separates the ones who say they want it from the ones who've decided nothing will stop them. The cost of not showing up? Regret. Regret is heavy. It doesn't show up loud. It sneaks in when you're alone, when the dreams fade, when you see someone living what you should have fought for. You know that version of yourself you keep imagining? They don't exist unless you grind for them. Unless you sacrifice for them. Unless you show up, especially when it's inconvenient. People talk about fear of failure. Forget that. Fear regret. Fear becoming someone who had potential and wasted it. Fear being average because you made average decisions. You don't need more talent. You need more days in a row where you refuse to quit. You want to be great? Show up on the ordinary days. Everyone's motivated on day 1. Everyone loves progress on week 1. But what about day 47? What about week 19? What about the 3rd month when it feels like nothing's changing? That's where 90% of people disappear. That's where the graveyard of potential is buried, in the land of the ordinary. But greatness? It's not hiding in some massive moment. It's hiding in the decision to do what you said you'd do. Again, even when it's boring, even when it's slow, even when it feels like you're walking through fog with no end in sight. This isn't a shortcut. It's a sacrifice. Showing up every day isn't sexy. It's not glamorous. It's gritty. It's uncomfortable. It's repetitive, and it's everything. Because that's what most people refuse to do. They chase motivation. You chase consistency. They chase hype. You chase results. They quit when it's quiet. You grind harder when it's silent. Because you finally figured it out. There is no secret. There is no shortcut. There's only this. Show up. Every single day. This isn't a phase. This is a lifestyle. You don't show up for a summer body. You don't show up for a few compliments. You don't show up for a highlight reel. You show up to become something permanent. You show up because you refuse to return to who you used to be. You show up because you're building an identity forged. In fire, you've learned to love the routine. You've learned to respect the process. You're not chasing speed. You're chasing mastery. And mastery takes time. It takes days stacked on days. Effort stacked on effort. Commitment stacked on days where you had every excuse to quit. But you didn't. Let others fall off. You keep going. People will quit. Let them. People will make excuses. Let them. People will say, I just don't feel it anymore. Let them. You're not like them. You didn't come this far to turn soft. You didn't go through all that pain just to stop when it got uncomfortable again. You're chasing a rare life. A life few people are willing to earn. And that life only belongs to the one who keeps going when it hurts. When it's slow, when it's ugly, you've got one job. Don't stop showing up. This is who you are now. You think showing up is optional? It's not. Not anymore. Not when the life you want is waiting on the other side of the grind. Not when the future version of you is watching every move. Not when you've come this far, bled this much, sacrificed so deeply. No, now, it's obligation. It's identity. It's who you are. You don't need a reason to show up anymore. You are the reason. Let this burn into you. The difference between the person you are now and the person you could become. One thing. Daily decisions. That's it. Not talent. Not luck. Not genetics. Not followers. It's how many days in a row you refuse to betray yourself. When you say, I'm going to show up, and then your body screams no, your mind whispers. Skip today, and you still say, I'm going. That moment? That's the moment that separates average from unstoppable. That's when identity is forged in steel. Show up angry. Show up tired. Just show up. People think you have to show up happy, motivated, optimistic. Forget that. Show up angry if you have to. Show up in pain. Show up drained. Just show up. Because every day you show up when it's inconvenient, you're telling your mind, we do this, no matter what. That's not discipline. That's dominance over your weakness, over your doubt, over your old life. No one cares. That's why you have to. Let me be real with you. No one's tracking your progress. No one's clapping when you hit 100 reps. No one's noticing when you wake up early. No one cares that you didn't skip leg day. And that's exactly why you have to care. You do this because you're building something bigger than attention. You're building the kind of person who doesn't break, who doesn't stop, who doesn't flinch. The kind of person who looks in the mirror and says, I trust you, I'm proud of you. Let's get back to work. That's power no one can give you. That's respect no one can take from you. Show up until it's normal. You don't want to rely on willpower. You want to build identity. You want to get to the point where showing up is as automatic as brushing your teeth. No excuses. No negotiation. Just part of who you are. You want to become the kind of person where discipline is so ingrained, you feel weird when you don't show up. And the only way to get there? Show up every single day. Until it's not what you do, it's just who you are. This is bigger than you think. Every day you show up, you're building more than muscle. You're building more than habits. You're building a reputation with yourself. You're telling the universe, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not fragile. I don't fold. I finish. People want fulfillment. They want peace. They want to be proud of themselves. But they keep breaking promises to the one person who matters most, themselves. If you can't trust your own word, nothing works. So every rep, every task, every uncomfortable hour, you're not just building a body. You're not just building a business. You're not just building a dream. You're building integrity. The hard days are the real days. You know when it counts? When you're tired, when it's cold, when it's quiet, when you feel like no one sees you and no one cares. Those are the days that count. Because they're the ones that separate the committed from the casual, the unshakable from the uncertain. The legend from the excuse maker. Anyone can show up when the weather's perfect, when the emotions are high, when the crowd is loud. But the person who shows up when no one claps? That's the person who wins. Show up for your future. There's a future version of you living the life you say you want, but they don't exist if you quit. They don't exist if you take days off when it gets hard. They don't exist if you keep listening to that soft voice in your head that says, you deserve to rest. Rest? You want rest? Earn it. Through years of consistency. Through thousands of moments when you had the excuse and chose effort instead. That's when you earn the rest. Not before. Right now your future self is counting on you. Don't let them down. The world doesn't hand out greatness. It demands it. You want to be great? You better be ready to suffer. You better be ready to show up on the days it rains. The days it hurts. The days your heart's broken. The days it feels pointless. The days your body says, I'm done. The days your mind says, it's too much. And you say, I don't quit. I show up. That's greatness. That's what it costs. No refunds. No discounts. No shortcuts. So show up every day without excuses. Without apology. You want to change your life? You know what to do. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for signs. Stop praying for motivation to find you. Be the fire. Be the force. Be the one who says, no matter how I feel, I show up. Every single day. Because in the end, it won't be your feelings that define your legacy. It'll be your consistency. So write the story you're proud of. Brick by brick. Step by step, rep by rep. Day by day, show up. Every single day. No matter what.